Welcome back to another video. Peer pressure, stress, problems, more problems. These are just some of the factors that lead some individuals to turn to drugs for support. Little do they know that these drugs are slowly killing them from the inside, incapacitating their brain with every dose, eventually driving them to the point where they cannot live without drugs. Believe it or not, human society is slowly falling prey to illicit drugs. First, let's take a look at why particular drugs are illicit in the first place. Certain drugs, such as nicotine, cocaine, and meth, force your nervous system to be sustained only by the presence of that drug. So, your body becomes accustomed to the drug and cannot survive without it. Your nervous system becomes completely dependent on the presence of that drug. And that isn't bad enough. The drug doesn't just sit there inside your body waiting for something interesting to happen. It begins to take action almost immediately. So, to understand some of the health consequences of drug misuse, we must first classify the illicit drug effects into two categories: short term and long term. Some short term effects on the body include proneness to heart attacks, seizures, strokes, brain disorders, and even death. Long term effects can include heart or lung disease, cancer, HIV, and AIDS, among others. These effects need not only be physical, they can be psychological too. Now, let's take a look at the different types of drugs available on the black market. There are depressants, hallucinogens, and stimulants. Depressants slow the messages going in and out of your brain, slowing your reactions to stimuli and affecting the release of adrenaline. They, when taken in small quantities, make you relaxed and less inhibited. They affect the coordination of your body organs, making you appear disoriented. One such example of a depressant is cannabis. Hallucinogens, as the name implies, makes you hallucinate and distort your perception of reality. Some effects taking hallucinogens can be seen things that aren't there or an altered vision of reality. Some examples of hallucinogens include ketamine and lysergic and acid diethylamide, also known as LSD. Lastly, there are stimulants. These, in fact, are quite the opposite of depressants. They speed up the messages sent to and from the brain, making you feel more alert and confident. These can cause increased heart rate, blood pressure, and anxiety in large amounts. Two well known examples of stimulants are methylene also known as MDMA, and cocaine. Substance abuse or misuse of illicit drugs are not a new problem that the society is facing. Though the misuse of illicit drugs has greatly magnified over the decades, drugs have always existed and had been used by humans. Take, for example, the Mughal Emperor Nur-ud-Din Muhammad Salim, more commonly by his title Jahangir. Jahangir authorized trade and use of opium, a commonly used, perfectly legal drug at the time. Jahangir himself, according to some sources, himself was an opium addict, and this was during the 1500s, also known as the 16th century. Attempts to understand the nature of the illicit drug abuse and addiction can be traced back for centuries. However, the search has always been limited by the scientific theories and social attitudes available or dominant at any one time. As David F. Masto, a pioneer in illicit drug abuse research, said, illicit drugs, however effective and how harmful they may be, are just a self-inflicting method of distracting the mind from the problem that arrive in the journey of life. There may be simpler solutions to these problems, or you might just have to endure them. Why ruin the one chance you have at life by beginning your journey to the dark side? On a slightly lighter note, that concludes today's video. If you are facing depression or any related problems, make sure you consult a specialist or someone who knows about what they're talking about. Thank you for watching the video.